Do you ever wake up and feel like your brain is already going 100 miles an hour? Before the day even starts, you're already planning things, you're already doing things, you're already running around. And by the end of the day, you're extremely tired and you tell yourself that tomorrow you need to be on and you need to actually do more so that you can get stuff done because you're going to bed with this feeling of actually not having accomplished very much throughout the day. Tomorrow comes, the exact same thing happens. Get to the end of the day, you feel like you still have not accomplished much. So you tell yourself again, I have to be on. I have to get more done. If that sounds familiar, then this episode is for you. There were many days that I'd wake up and right away I would grab my phone, and before the day even starts and before getting out of bed, I was already thinking about everything that I had to do that day. It's not a great way to start, but it started to feel normal. And by the end of the day, I had done a lot of stuff, but still felt like I really hadn't accomplished much and was wondering why I was not moving forward in my life and accomplishing these big goals that I had set out to do. What I learned is that it isn't that your days are too busy. It's just that you're spending the amount of hours that you have throughout the day on the wrong things that don't actually move the needle forward, things that don't actually get you to those big things. And you just spend all your time on little things that make you feel busy, but actually don't make you feel accomplished. The problem here is that you're not clear on what moves the needle. You're not clear on what moves your goals forward. Not everything that feels productive is productive. So what you have to do now is you have to sit down and you have to make a list. You have to make a list. A lot of people make a to-do list, and usually the things that go on those to-do lists is just things that you wish to do that day, right? And it's a combination of all kinds of stuff. And most of the times, the things that we put on our to-do list aren't actually things that are going to get us closer to the big goals. It's just tasks that we have to do and errands that we have to run. So your list needs to be two separate things, and you need to separate it into a primary list and a secondary list. And this is one thing that I learned from Donald Miller, who is the CEO of StoryBrand. And he talks about the primary list is the list of things that are directly attached to your goals that are actually going to get you to those things, whatever it is that you want to do. The primary list is if you do this thing, you will be a step closer to actually accomplishing that goal. And a secondary list is things that actually don't even get you anywhere close to your goals. These are things that you need to do throughout the day. These are your errands. These are things like doing the laundry. These are things like vacuuming the house. These are things like mowing the lawn or go picking up the dry cleaning, right? If you do a lot of those things every single day and you have these goals that you want to accomplish, never going to accomplish those goals because those things aren't directly tied to those goals. You have to do both of these lists. You have to do the primary list. You have to do a secondary list, right? Things have to get done. But now what you now have to shift and start to do is you need to allocate the time that you do have throughout your day. Those hours that you deem to be productive hours can be in the morning, can be at night. If you have an hour, if you have 2 hours, 3 hours, those blocks of time, you now need to say to yourself, I'm going to identify the primary things that move my goal forward. So if I want to start a YouTube channel, what are the primary things that I need to start a YouTube channel? I need to learn how to make content. I need to learn how to edit videos. I need to learn how to upload videos. And then I need to learn how to do all the different descriptions and titles and all of that. Those are your primary things. So in order for you to actually get those things done, you block out those 3 hours and you say that in these 3 hours, I'm going to learn how to shoot videos. That's all I'm going to learn how to do. That moves you forward. If you find yourself checking emails, if you find yourself going to watch other people's YouTubes, going to listen to other people's podcasts, none of those things are making you better and getting you closer. None of those things are actually moving the needle. Those things are just eating up the time that you should be spending on building, right? So that is an example. Think about that in your life. Think about the goals that you have in your life and think about how do I now identify the things that move those goals versus the things that actually waste time away from those goals? Write 2 to 3 things that actually move that goal forward. Write them down and then try to do at least one of those things every single day. You may not get through the whole one. You may get through 1 or 2. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the time that you allocate to it, the hour, the 2 hours, the 3 hours, the 30 minutes you put into it. are dedicated to those 2 to 3 things that move the goal, and then everything else you can do later. If you are getting value from this episode, make sure you subscribe to the Be Unafraid podcast. Every single week, I make episodes that are going to help you focus on the things that you need to focus on so you can stop wasting time and actually get things done with confidence and with courage. So let's get back into the episode. Catch yourself doing those fake work. Those things are going to eat you up. Like we talked about, checking emails, tweaking little things, organizing. Feels like progress, but every single time you get to the end of the day and you lay down and you have that feeling that I'm really not doing much. I have these goals to go and become this fit. I have these goals to win this competition. I have these goals to complete this certification. I have these goals to get this promotion at work, to start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, but I'm just not moving forward towards it. It's because you don't have primary things identified that will move you to those goals, like we talked about. You're focusing on the fake work, the secondary things that make you feel like you're actually being progress in your life. And you need to start to notice that. You need to start catching yourself doing that. And then you need to now go back and do those 2 to 3 things that we talked about that are primary things. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this thing that I'm doing right now moving my goal forward? If the answer is yes, then that is your primary thing. If the answer is no, then you need to pivot to something else that is. Protect your time for the real work that matters. We are all busy people in life. We are all high performers in our own respective domains in our lives. We're all high-performing employees, students. We're all high-performing husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, and all these different things that we are in life. We need to protect our time, and you need to protect your time if you actually want to move some of these things forward. If you have 30 minutes for that day, then make sure that 30 minutes is spent focused, no distractions on those primary tasks. If you have an hour, if you have 2 hours, 3 hours, the important thing is not necessarily how much you can get done in those hours, but what's important is how focused are you on those primary things. Because if you do that, if you focus on those things, naturally you're going to progress forward. Over time, it builds up. Over time, it compounds and you build momentum. When you build momentum and consistency, that equates to discipline. Now you start to actually move forward and actually feel at the end of the day that you've got some stuff done. Treat your time like a meeting with yourself. You are setting up some time and you're meeting with yourself to do something. So respect that time and make sure that you put away all the other distractions. When you meet with important people in your life, you focus on them and you're not distracted. Why not meet with the most important person in your life, which is yourself, and not be distracted and make sure you're actually working on the right things? If you keep doing things that don't really move those big items forward, you're just going to feel like you're not actually doing things at the end of the day. And you're going to have that feeling of, I have to be on all the time. I have to do more. I have to do better. Every single day, you're just going to say, I don't feel like I actually did much because I didn't do enough. And that is not necessarily the truth. You did too much of not the right stuff. When you focus on the right stuff, even one thing counts. One thing is massive. One right thing is more massive than 10 not right things. So always remember that and ask yourself, what are the primary things that are going to move goal 1, goal 2, goal 3 forward? And what are the secondary things that I do need to do and will do, but don't necessarily move that thing forward, and I can do and save the time to do those at a later time. But in these focused hours, it's all primary things. You really don't need a perfect plan. Just sit down, write it down on paper, write it down on your computer. It's important that you actually see it, because when you see it, you can focus on it. You can really sharpen your mind towards that thing, and just keep choosing the things that matter the most and keep doing those things. And it's going to help you feel a little bit more accomplished, and it's going to help you settle down and not have that anxiety of, I'm not doing enough and I just have to be on. So make sure you do that. If you're someone who is constantly criticizing yourself and you're finding yourself stuck and not able to get out of that and actually do things, then check this episode right here where I talk to you about how to take that criticism and actually use it in a more positive way as fuel to get things done and accomplish your goals.